Hello. So, we did a lot of hard work today in therapy. I literally just got off my session with Laura, and I have given her my YouTube. So, Laura, if you see this, hi again. Um, but one thing that I learned today in therapy is that triggers are going to happen. They're going to happen, and they're going to mess with us. So we just got to keep hanging on to our tools and keep pivoting to a response rather than a reaction. Like my video that I made about responding versus reacting. It sucks. It's hard. It's a lot of work and it can be really draining. It can be really exhausting. But the fact is that you're using the tools. That is what is important. You may never get to a point to where you never ever have another trigger again. The triggers are always going to be there, and you got to keep using your tools, because when you give up and let it run you over, that's when you get hurt. That's when you kind of get hurt inside. And it's especially true um, when you have something that triggers like a flashback, because that happened to me last night, and all the feelings that came up with it. A situation arose that made me for a moment see my dad and my mom in a situation that was not actually happening in the church. It was someone's husband and the wife. There's a lady, Carol, in my choir. She has a disabled husband, Tony, who he had a brain aneurysm a long time ago. Blood vessel in his brain swelled up like a balloon and burst, and he bled in his brain. It was a hemorrhagic stroke. And he's been disabled since. He's better than he was, but I never knew him before he was disabled. But he got up with his walker and was trying to go somewhere, and Carol had to redirect him to the bathroom because he was going the wrong way, because he can get confused about directions sometimes. And I got distracted by that, but then we were going to sing again because choir practice. So the anger was rising inside of me, and I had to push it down to focus on singing because we were practicing Sicut Cervus by Palestrina, and you gotta be focused for that because it's not an easy piece. But when I went home with my mom later, she asked, what was up, because, my tone of voice was not that of, oh, I'd had a good time. It's because the feeling was coming back. And I ruminated on the memory instead of just shoving it back, because flashbacks and these bad memories that pop up, they don't serve anything. And Laura told me they don't serve anything, so, don't give them energy, don't give them oxygen. Bring yourself back to the present. And she even made this gesture of bring yourself back to the present. So, I wrote myself, some little notes that you probably cannot read, but I can. But, I've given myself a new command for when I feel that kind of thing happening, and it's stay here. And what I'm doing is I'm telling myself to stay present. Don't go wandering back into these bad memories, but stay in the present. Because the memory serves nothing. All it'll do is upset me and put me in fight or flight, or put me in a state of depression or anger or whatever that I don't need in that moment. And you can do it too. When you catch yourself flashing back, you can just bring yourself back to the present. Make up a gesture you can do, snap your fingers, anything to tell yourself where you are. And then you do your deep breathing, and you ground yourself. What's around you? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? What do you taste? Attune to your senses. Or do something distracting, like play a Tetris game, or play a video game, or open a book and read a random page. Anything, but get out of the flashback, because it will not serve you. And, we got feelings, we're human, and we're going to have these triggers. And we're going to have these emotions. And that doesn't make us bad people. And other people that are jerks to us, that's on them. That doesn't necessarily reflect on us as who we are. And someone in our life who is abusive that tries to convince us that we're terrible, horrible people, well, we might have to be terrible and horrible to survive them, but that doesn't mean we're terrible and horrible. That's the crap they gave us. We don't have to carry it. You don't have to carry the shame of what happened to you if you were abused. Any kind of abuse, emotional, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. That is not your shame. That is on your abuser. But we cannot control our abusers to the point that they don't abuse. We have to let them be them and we be us. And I know when you're surviving abuse, it's hard to figure out who you are. But who are you when you're not around them? That'll be a good clue. Because I know when I'm not around my dad, I'm a pretty kind person. I want to help people. I want to be kind to people. And if I can offer something to help somebody, I will. Like, we're almost 5 years from when the COVID lockdown started. And I remember the empty store shelves. I climbed the shelves to grab a packet of rolls for a couple kids that were running around trying to find anything to eat, and I got them this packet of those Hawaiian rolls and gave it to them, and they were just so happy. They took off around the corner. I never saw them again after that. But I had stuff in my cart. My mom, she had it in the cart, but it was our cart, but she'd gone ahead. These kids had an empty cart, and I had to put something in it. So, and that's who I am, is someone who wants to help, and if I have the ability to, I will. If I don't, I won't because I can't. But if I have the ability to, like online, like on Blue Sky, I boost people's crowdfunding. Like friends of mine that when I see them struggling in their crowdfunding, I boost it. I boost their mutual aid. I try to get eyes on it so they get donations and they can survive. And like, that is who I am. I have to find that person inside all the crap that my dad has put in my head. And so do you when it comes to your abusers and who you are outside of them. But you're not your abuser, and your abuser's not you. So you got to find yourself. And you also have to do it while you're dealing with trauma. And that is hard work. And if you're doing that work, you are so damn brave. You are so damn brave. And you know what? So am I. Okay, I totally stole that from Doctor Who. I admit. I changed some words, but I stole that from Doctor Who. Not this doctor, but the Ninth Doctor. He is fantastic. So anyway, yeah, we did a lot of work, and I'm going to be really tired once I finish this vlog because it was heavy work. And I mean, Laura had a lot to say, but she made me feel a lot better, and I really appreciate her as a therapist, and we've been working for a year. So, I feel better. I feel so much better than where I was a year ago, and I just hope that it keeps going up. I know it's going to be up and down, but we're going to get there. And also, sorry for the weird lighting. It's late in the day. It's cloudy and gloomy. So, I probably don't look so pretty, but who cares? I ain't here to impress anybody. I'm just here to spread a message. I love you. Bye-bye.